Hello, YouTubes. Let me shut the door. Alright, let's get situated here. Alright. Every week I have a little bit more trouble getting this stuff set up. It's always a new problem to solve, but let's see what we got going on here. Alright, so we're up to 11 viewers already. Awesome. Glad to see so many people back on the stream. Glad to see you back, Kilo Charlie 5 Tango Golf Tango. Hey William, what's up Minecraft? Finally got you in the stream here, so glad to see you here. Whiskey 8 Indigo Juliet Charlie, is that your vanity call that you applied for? Have a net in 30 minutes. We're going to be streaming for about an hour tonight. I've kind of set back my YouTube schedule because it was a little too much with the craziness of life right now. But we're doing 1 hour live streams and we're going to limit it to one video a week. But that's going to allow me to do better production with the one video I do. So I finally got to do the ISS video last week. But I got a really exciting video this week. So there's a project I've been working on, and some of you in the ham radio community might know what it is, but it's the ambient power module. So basically, the way radio waves work is there's pretty much all you need to do to generate a voltage is or force of electrons is to have a difference in voltage. And basically, radio waves are kind of all over the place, yeah. So, and it's energy that can be captured in the air. So, I've been kind of playing around with. Let me change the font color here. With trying to capture some of that energy in the air and convert it to DC, and it's been really fun so far. I've learned a lot. But I've pretty much built a circuit that captures. I put it on my HF antenna last night, and in the morning the capacitors on it had about 0.7 volts, and that was all this stray RF energy in the air. That wasn't even me transmitting. Now, if when I transmit on my HF radio, it charges up to 2 or 3 volts, which is enough to power a LED, which is kind of cool. That's going to be what the video is going to be this week. We're going to be talking about RF energy harvesting and methods to do it, and kind of the circuit that I built yesterday. It's an interesting topic. I was trying to power a calculator before the stream started, and I need to double the voltage one more time to get to that point. But thanks. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the ISS video. It's been a long time in the making. I think it went really well. There wasn't a whole lot of resources video-wise for doing it. There's a lot of questions like what path should you actually use, because there's so many competing answers on the internet. I'm glad that I meant to change the font color of the chat. I'm glad that I finally got the chance to step through it and get a good shot of everything going on. The vanity mixed bag, I like it though. I haven't changed to a vanity yet, but I've kind of established my call sign so much now that I don't think I should change it. Oh, hello from Alaska. Man, I wish I could work you. I've got 2 states left for worked all states. And Arthur, Alaska is one of them. Alaska and Nebraska are the 2 I got left. I don't know what it is. I just can't get up there. But we're contacting viewers tonight on PSK 31. So if anybody, if you got a HF antenna that can go 20 or 40 meters, it would be really cool if we could contact. But let's go ahead and get started here. So we're doing a little PSK 31. I tend to enjoy that. It's a little bit more engaging than FT8, but it's not as stressful as trying to do voice while I'm streaming. So we're going to go to Well, let's start on 20 meters right now. Let me turn up my radio so if I can see if I can hear anything. Yes, there is activity. And we can move me over here so everybody can see the little waterfall here. So it looks like we do have one QSO going on. Looks like they're kind of wrapping up. But yep, we're just we're changing my frequency too. Even though it's written on the screen, I like to have it there. All right, so let's see where we're at here. 470 upper sideband. Looks like we're ready to start calling CQ. So we'll pick a spot here, and I'm getting 0 power outputs. Stop. What could be causing that? So nothing goes right. Let's check for sound output. I bet my sound card became unconfigured. What we got? Still nada. We're not even. Stop. Interesting. This is real exciting to watch. I'm gonna be on 14070, and we should be on here as soon as I debug what's happening here. I could just need to restart FL Digi. Let's try it now. There we go. We got power output now. We got power output now. Cool. See if we can put this guy on top somewhere. I have no idea how I would do that. I guess I could shorten the window down. That way people can see a little bit of rig control here and see what we're dealing with. I'll put the chat back over here. I'll put me. So, Ham Radio Essentials back in. Everything fine work exactly. Yeah, everything works until you have a live audience, and that's one of the big things I've learned over the past couple months here doing the streams. So what is this? What application? What brand? What's required to use it? What license is required? So basically, we get that question a lot, and it always stumps me. I'm gonna call CQ again. This is FL Digi. It is a method to interface or change digital data into audio to be transmitted over HF radio. HF radio is a means of communication that utilizes shortwave or lower frequency bands to make far and distant contacts over HF radio waves. So this program right here is taking what text that I want to send, and it's converting it into an audio signal that goes to my radio. My radio converts it into radio waves that go over the air. A receiving station's radio converts the radio waves back into audio signal. The audio signal goes back into their computer, and then their program changes the audio signal back into text and displays it on their screen. So it's wireless messaging. Is really what it is. There was activity here, but it looks like we got a little bit more static on the waterfall. We'll call CQ again. So, yeah, you can remember the stream by remembering the net. If it's so close together. Did you say HF net? Everything's set up 160 meter. Oh, cool. Yeah. In the future here, we do this type of stuff on streams all the time. Looks like we're getting a reply. Oh, what's happening? Nah, my radio is not actually transmitting. Alright, of course something's going on here. What is it? Why? Why isn't things working? Of course it'll let me call CQ and it's not letting me answer. Okay, it picked up. Okay, well, it sent half my message, but that's funny. You let me call CQ, and then when finally somebody answered me, it started to goof up. Might have already given up on me. I really appreciate just the basics explanation at the beginning of the video. Thanks. Yeah. Eventually, I'll cover most topics, but I like to have that's one video people have been specifically asking for. Quite a bit of people. So I figured it would be a good idea to at least cover the basics. There's going to be a lot of people that haven't watched the other videos or just trying to do that in particular. But I tried to link them the resources just for the people that needed a little extra explanation if they're new to APRS and stuff like that. You all can't hear it on my end, but I'm having some technical difficulties here with the radio. Basically, it's saying that it's transmitting and it's not. Now I'm not quite sure why. $1470 upper sideband data. Tune it up. Move some of my wires around in case there's interference. And call CQ. Okay. We're working now. Not quite sure what's happening there. There's probably some type of interference. I've been doing a lot of electronics work and there's been a lot of stuff moved around, so it's a good possibility I've just moved a power cable or something and something's just not working. So, I love your NOAA satellite video. I use a 25 watt mobile rig as my base station. I'm getting HG tomorrow for field. Okay, this guy is trying to contact me again. So hopefully we'll be able to get back at him this time. I'm glad you like the NOAA stuff. I still try to go back and focus. I have a little bit more expensive gear now, but I still try to go back and focus on the budget stuff because that's how a lot of us get started, and especially younger and you're not as established. I just want to show people that you can still do it on a budget. You don't need a ton of money. Let's see. APRS trying to set up a digipeater with a Raspberry Pi Baofeng didn't work well. Yeah, it doesn't. If you're using a Baofeng for both the receive and the transmit, there are some. Sorry, the one thing about working PSK31 is I kind of have to focus a little bit. Of course, Florida. That's where we get all the contacts. Oh, I'll get back to the chat here when I get a break between contacts. I'm really bad at spelling and typing, so if I don't focus here. Alright, so I'm really bad with small talk. Oh yeah, I meant to make this bigger so make sure the stream could see. You know, it's a little small on my end anyways. Let's see, so yeah, so with the Baofeng, if you're trying to receive and transmit, there's a couple things you can do to make it more efficient. So you can disable battery saver, which will allow it to switch back and transceive to receive quicker. But the biggest thing you can do is if you use that Raspberry Pi and you connect one of those GPIO pins to the push-to-talk line on the microphone, you probably have to strip it or make your own cable. Then you can actually trigger the push-to-talk through Direwolf, which makes things a little bit more efficient. Oops. But that's one way you could do it. But I really, the way I have mine set up for a while was, Big Beth, welcome back to the house. Thanks for the $10. Really appreciate it. I'm glad to see you back here this week. My coffee money. Appreciate it. Yes, we are planning to do some car trips when things improve a little more and want to see thing in the but the way I have mine set up was with the RTL SDR as a receive, so it's constantly receiving and then the Baofeng. One's got its pros and one's got its cons, but that seemed to work well for me. Oh well, I misspelled a whole bunch of that, but I hate small talk. I'm trying to wrap this up here. But it's a 2 meter net. I'm in town called Canoet. Canoet. I'm really bad at this. The repeater isn't that active. I need to get back on 2 meters too. I just don't do a whole lot of voice. I assume propagation comes into play with your contacts. Oh, definitely. Right now, during the daytime, 20 meters seems to be good. And then as it comes to night, we'll move down to 40 meters. I've kind of limited my streams to about an hour, so sometimes we don't make it to 40 meters, but propagation definitely plays a role. I would tell them on YouTube, but I've been really hesitant about talking, like making contacts over radio, because I don't want to feel like I'm advertising in any way. As you probably have heard, Florida is on the upswing since I live near the beach. It is beginning to crawl with people. We'll see what happens. Alright, what is this? Oh, it's giving me a little synopsis. Cool. Aggressive typing noises. Yeah, I've been meaning to do something about the mic. I like to get a stand to get it off of the keyboard, pretty much, because it's a mechanical keyboard, so you can hear every little thing I type. So I know that gets a little annoying for you all. Oh, hello, Greg. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Oh, it's always Florida. Yeah, I got to get used to the small talk. It's just hard for me to talk about nothing. There we go. If I transmit before I type, it stresses me out, and I have to think about something to type. Alright, so net starts soon. I'll stay on the stream, but I gotta keep my volume down. Well, thanks for joining me, Minecraft. I'm not sure how long your nets last over there, but we stream for about an hour, so either way, though, I'm glad you tuned in. I know you've been following my videos for a while now, so it's cool to see you on the stream. Small talk is harder for me, too. I'm mostly a contester and DXer. Yeah, that's why I like doing FT8, but it's not... shoot, I lost train train of thought. FTA is not very engaging to watch, so I like to do PSK 31 because it's a little more entertaining. But it is harder for me when you tell the difference between somebody that wants to just chat and rag you and somebody that just wants to get their contacts in. I get really happy when I see those individuals just throw their macro and say, all right, we're moving on. But I just have a hard time telling people, like, okay, I'm moving on to the next contact. Still something I struggle with, as I talked about in my mic shot video. But if I can get a little bit of conversation out of a person, it's a little better. Like if we move away from small talk, all the weather down here, and I went to the doctor yesterday, and like if I can get into something a little bit more deeper, it's a little more enjoyable. But if you put 2 pieces of paper in the keyboard, it cuts down some of the noise. 2 pieces of paper. I'll have to look into that. Oh, we already knew about my YouTube. I might as well tell them now. I hope he doesn't take offense to him being broadcast and me not telling him. That's another thing. Let's see what I see. Yeah, I'm careful because I don't want people to take offense knowing. I know some people are kind of weird about them being broadcast or whatever. Also, I don't want to feel like I'm advertising, but this guy already tuned in my QRZ page and he saw my YouTube video, so I just went and told him kind of what was going on. Is this stuff that Facebook groups? Is this stuff like Facebook groups over radio waves? It's kind of like chat. It's like more like a Yahoo chat, like AOL Instant Messenger, I guess, with the radio spectrum. It's just chatting back and forth, pretty much. The whole RagChew thing is easier when you have a local repeater. I will have to get over that when I get my HF rig. Yeah, but that's also why I stick to the digital modes. That way I can just avoid it entirely. But yeah, it's something I'd like to get good at because I do like voice. I just don't like the small talk. Or satellite comm may be all we have for DX. If you're sending this on YouTube, I'll let you onto. Okay. Looks like I got food. Thank you.
Get
that potassium.
Welcome.
Let's see, I'll look for you in the future when I'll have your YouTube channel. Oh, cool. Yeah. I'll have to catch up on chat here after this contact. Alright, so let me make sure. I need to write a note down that I need to send him a QSL card. Usually I send them when I get them, but if they're telling me they're going to send them, I'm going to go ahead and send mine too. Sometimes where is... Alright, I got my logbook up here, but... sometimes it automatically logs and sometimes it doesn't. I'm sure there's a button in here that logs it for me, right? I'm going to Google this real quick. And then I'll come back over to the chat and talk about that a little bit. The dupe is cleared when you press clear the QSL log button, the brush icon. No, don't want to clear the log fields. Let's see. Alright, we're just going to put it in manually. Not a big deal. Let's see here. Mike. And the mode was PSK 31. See, that was on 20 meters. Receive 599. PTH was Echo Lima 99 IU. GX frequency. Oh shoot. 14.070. And the time was 23:35. Sorry, I gotta talk this out loud or I'll forget what I'm doing here. Alright, there we go. So, let's chat. The whole rag chewing thing is blah, da, 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 da. Thanks for the answer. What was I talking about? Have you gotten into linear satellites yet? I don't think so. Actually, what is a linear satellite? Is that like the HF satellites? Linear satellites. No, they're not HF. I don't know anything about... Is that what I have been doing? No? I don't know much about linear satellites, so I'll have to look into that. New ham here, overwhelmed with my Yaesu FT3DR. Well, I've been trying to cover all the little topics on it. If you're a new ham, that radio's got a lot of functions in it, and it does a lot of different stuff, and so it can be pretty overwhelming. You just got to take it day by day, and it takes a long time to learn everything you need to learn. But hopefully my videos kind of help you out some. If you have any questions, I'm free to answer them here in the chat. If I don't know the answer, somebody will. And if there's any topic you'd like me to cover in a video, feel free to suggest it here, and I'll see if I can get around to it here sometime soon. I've done linear satellites. It's pretty difficult without the proper equipment. Yeah, I still don't know much about it. I'll have to look into it. The way I did it was with 2 separate mobile rigs. Single sideband on 70 centimeters. You have to use single sideband on 2 meters and 70 centimeters? That's interesting. So it's like an AM satellite with higher frequencies? I guess I need to study up on that. Oh, welcome back from your net. Single sideband satellite. So, oh, yeah, okay. I'm slowly moving down the chat. There's a slight delay here. But I've been looking for linear satellite equipment. It's pretty expensive. Yeah, I don't think I've even seen a single sideband radio that works on 2 meters or 70 centimeters. So that's an interesting concept. I wonder how that gets out. Huh. See, there's always more stuff to look at into this hobby. Like, it just, you know, it just goes deeper and deeper, whatever subject that you choose. Like, there's this infinite amount of information and stuff you can get into. But that's an interesting concept. I'm a little afraid to call CQ again. Let's call... well, before we call here, we'll make another couple of contacts. I think if you were here last week, I was talking about the 3D printer. This thing is awesome. Like, it's for probably the price of a medium-priced 2-meter handheld radio. This is the Ender Pro. It was like $250, but I've just been printing away. See that I just put up this pegboard that's new. All of those components on it are held with 3D printed parts that I printed, even like the multimeter and stuff like that. But yeah, and even in terms of ham radio, I'm starting to get into like printing battery cases and stuff like that, where I'm getting into electronics. Those things are super cool. Just thought I'd talk about that for a second before I called. Procrastinated just a little bit. Oh, I've got food here too. Food is hard to eat while you're streaming and doing PSK31. But we're going to call CQ again. So I used to work out when I was younger, probably like 5 or 6 years ago. And I decided I was going to go to the gym last week. That's still hot. And I went 2 days. And so yesterday I woke up pretty sore. I was so sore that I don't think I was going to make it to the gym. So I took a day off. Today I woke up so sore I could barely roll out of bed. And even now, if I put my arm up any higher than this, it's an intense pain in my back. So I don't know if I'm just getting older and my body is just not receiving it well enough or what, but I'm going to have to take another day off. I used to be able to just jump into stuff like that, and these days I'm in so much pain. So I've been trying to eat things that I might need. Like I've been eating plenty of protein, and so my fiance just made me sweet potatoes because I don't normally eat fruits and vegetables. So I'm trying to. I mean, sweet potatoes are pretty good. I should be able to eat this, but I'm in so much pain when I move around right now. Like, I'm glad that nothing's dropped onto the floor, because you probably hear me scream trying to pick it up. I'll CQ again. But I think I might need some potassium too. So, if anybody's in the chat and they want to work me, go for it. You can either answer my CQ, but I really appreciate Macbeth. There you go again. Thanks for the coffee money, but I think it's about coffee time. Good reminder. It's about coffee time. But thanks for the $4. I appreciate it. Bring a little. There we go. All right. We're going to take a 2-minute break to go get a cup of coffee. Maybe 1 minute. Depending on how fast I can do it. We're going to come back and make another couple of contacts. So I will be right back. Alright, so I'm back. Oh, gosh. Trying to prop myself up in my chair like I usually do. Alright. There we go. Let's call CQ again. See if I guess I can clear this out. Got some more coffee. Watch your videos about the ISS. Very well done. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've been really wanting to do that video, and I want to do more. I'd like to make an actual contact with another individual off of it here soon. So next time I do an ISS video, that's probably what it's going to be. But my dream is to talk to an astronaut. I think I can do it, but to get it on video too, of all the attempts I'm going to make, is going to be kind of difficult. But that would be really cool. When you train your muscles, rest for 20 hours to recuperate. It's been 2 days, and I'm still so it's even sore the next day. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's see what we got here. Another contact. Okay, shooting the macro out. Maybe I can shoot a macro back and wrap this up. Using macros, hands, problems. You don't have to explain yourself, man. I understand. Maybe I need to start telling people I have a hand problem. Now he might actually have a ham problem. The astronauts sadly rarely use the radio more. Yeah, I know. Every once in a while though, they do surprise people and jump on there. It's just, I think it's one of those deals where with ham radio, it's like if nobody's calling, nobody's gonna reply. So I've heard of them doing rare, like out of the ordinary contacts of people that call up to them. But it doesn't happen much, but there is a chance. It's passing over just the right time. You call on there and somebody hears you. If they got it powered up, you can play with it. I think one of the astronauts that just recently went up there was a avid ham radio operator too. That's a good sign. A double bazooka 20-meter antenna. What the heck is a double bazooka? I've never heard of that before in my life. That sounds like a wild antenna. Alright, if he's using macros, I use macros too. ISS passes are stressful, unlike other AMSATs where the ISS is only one satellite, so you have to wait a long time for another good pass. Yeah, you get about 15 minutes a week, like of a good pass, maybe. And sometimes you don't even get that. So, yeah, it's a little stressful because you got to use your time wisely. It doesn't come over often, and when it does, you know, you have to have good elevation. Oh shoot, I'm trying to eat this potato. Someone allegedly made contact with him while they're waiting to dock. Oh, cool. I have to start trying to call up there a little bit more. Alright. I'm going on a little bit of a rant. Of all things that you were only going to single out making a QSO on, it's EQSL. I'm not going to put on hate on anybody that uses EQSL, but it's so outdated. Like the website looks like it's probably made in the 90s, but it just stayed in the 90s. There's just so many more, if you don't want to pay money to log of the world, there's so many more free, like QRZ or something that looks a little more legitimate, but no hate, not trying to throw shade to those who use EQSL, but it's just kind of funny seeing somebody that only uses EQSL. I tried to use APRS on my HT, but my... What is that? Shadili? Element... I've never heard of that antenna. Let me Google this real quick. Oh, I don't understand. Sometimes it takes a couple tries, and you got to play with the polarization and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it was somebody from India, but it was found out to be a false claim. Well, that sucks. That sucks. I figure as much, but at least it got the news out here so that he is a active ham. Hopefully, with all the coverage, we'll see more amateur radio activity from the ISS. I hope so. That would be really cool to see. I would love to contact an astronaut. That's stuff that gets people into the hobby. Like, you tell somebody you can instant message somebody in China about the weather here in Kentucky versus contacting an astronaut on the space station with a radio. There's a big difference when it comes to getting people into the hobby. Ionic liquid antenna? Nope, 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 nope. Oh, shoot. Start from the beginning, please. What have I got to do here? Alright, that QSO's lost. If that was one of y'all in the chat, I'm sorry. I just can't get it to work. I can't get it to start from the beginning. I'm sure there's a there's probably the clear button. Well, let's call signs in the end. Maybe he's still listening and picks it up. The Arrow 2 is a nice antenna. Truthfully, after buying it, it's hard for me to justify the price, however. Because after all, it's made out of arrow shafts. I feel like at this point, I guess if you can't build your own, it's worth it. I couldn't build my own. But I just hate knowing the fact that I spent $140 for a metal rod and some arrow shafts. But I can't make my own. I feel like there's money to be made there because somebody can make the same antenna definitely and undercut that. But it works well. It does what it's supposed to do. I think the elk antenna costs a little bit less. But I don't know if it has both 70 and 20 or 70 centimeters and 2 meters on it. Can't remember. I'm sure they make one like that. Since moon bounce is possible, maybe when the astronauts go back to the moon, maybe if you have a high power and a big antenna, you might contact them. That would be really cool. That would be super cool. Maybe one day we can get to where there's like there's a special event station on the moon, so you can contact it and get a little certificate. One day, I hope I see it in my lifetime. We'll see. I don't think it's too far out of the question. We can send radio waves to the moon. We've sent radio waves from the Mars rover from Mars, so I think that we can do it. I think we can do it. Just got my ticket a couple weeks ago. I'm a recent electrical engineering grad, and when I found out you can make QSO satellites for a limited amount of money, I knew I needed to get my license. Funny you say that. I just now took up interest in electrical engineering, but I'm not going to school for it. I'm taking some Udemy courses, and I'm trying to kind of self-teach myself. But I really want to be able to like build my own circuits and my own designs and stuff like that. But I said in the beginning of the stream, I don't know if you're around, the first actual circuit I've made here converts RF in the air into DC. Just using some basic capacitors, really, some diodes to bounce the signal in the right direction, or forward the signal in the right direction. But it was a really cool project, and so I can connect it to my antenna, and the capacitors have 0 voltage on them. I left them overnight for about 8 or 9 hours and checked the voltage on the capacitors, and they were about 0.7 volts. So I've been trying to, if I can bump that up, and you might have an idea about this. So we're talking about millivolts right now. I'm talking like maybe hundreds of millivolts in the capacitors over a period of hours. If I can bump that up with a boost converter or some type of thing that works with the low voltage to at least 3 volts, I'd like to be able to power an LED just for a second, or a LED or LCD calculator. So I've got an LCD calculator ripped open right now, and I'm trying to charge the battery inside of it from the solar power by using that RF to DC converter. But it's really interesting topic, and I'm liking. I used to be a software developer, so I'm trying to learn all the electrical stuff too, because I would love to be able to just make my own circuits and amplifiers and stuff like that. So cool stuff, cool stuff. I kind of wish I would have just went to college for electrical engineering. I enjoy that much more than the few years I went for computer science. But ham radio ties over a lot with electrical engineering, I think. There's a lot of aspects of antenna theory and antenna design that relate perfectly with electrical engineering. And I don't know if you've ever seen one of the ARRL books, but I've seen a lot of electricians and electrical engineers reference that book too. I know the art of, the art of electronics is a really popular one, but they're kind of like the same reference. You know, one's oriented toward RF and one's to more like traditional electricity type deal, but yeah, they cross over quite a bit. The moon bounce thing is on my list too. I just don't have the equipment and money for that at this moment. Glad you're here on the electrical engineering course. Feel free to reach out. Thanks, Evan. The L container is a log periodic, which can RxTX on. Oh, okay. Yeah, I want a physical copy of it, but I'm going through like a 100-hour course on Udemy right now. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to buy the physical book and just start reading through it. So I want to at least understand what I'm reading, and the way I understand it, it's more of a reference than a teaching thing. I could be totally wrong. I'm about 20 or 30 hours into the course, so hopefully I'm having a hard time grasping some of the advanced mathematics and calculus involved. I'm having a hard time memorizing the formulas and stuff like that, but that's the biggest thing I'm having trouble with. But I'm sure I'll get it. I'm the type of person, if you teach it to me, I have to do it hands-on my own way to really put the concepts together in my head to understand it, and I only remember it if I understand it. So this is something I'm working on. I hope I stick with it and go through with it. Just, all right, so we're coming up on an hour, and I have decided to limit the live streams to an hour. So I'm probably calling that one right there my last contact for the night, but I'll still talk some. Direction of the YouTube channel, that my monitor just went off. You guys can see the monitor, but I can't. That's strange. Okay. Direction of the channel. So I noticed that 2 videos a week and a 2-hour, 1.5-hour live stream was just way too much for me to handle with what I've got going on in my life right now. I've got, all these military duties, and I picked up 2 more hobbies, which is working out and electronic design, circuit design, stuff like that. And doing all 3 of those and taking 2 or 3 hours of video hours on a video each week for 2 videos and a live stream. It's just, honestly, it's a little too much for me to handle with my schedule. So I've had to cut back, and we're doing 1 video a week, but I am making that video much higher quality. So sometimes I cheap out and just find an easy subject to do. I'm going to stay away from that and just focus on getting 1 good quality video out a week. This week is going to be about RF harvesting, or taking signals, RF signals in the air that are all around us, and try to channel that into DC energy that you can use to do other things. So tomorrow, or sometime this week, either it's probably going to be Friday, I'm going to upload the video, and we're going to be charging we're going to be getting a voltage out of the air overnight. Then I'm going to show you lighting LEDs, and powering a calculator by transmitting on my HF radio with a wire from this circuit that picks up on that. So that'd be a really cool thing, and I might go out somewhere else with that too. But that's going to be the video this week. Would be cool if you harvest natural sources of RF, maybe lightning. We learn most of this stuff from, well, I guess that's kind of what I'm talking about. I haven't perfected my knowledge enough to zero in on a certain frequency. So right now it's just a long antenna that's connected, and it gets whatever it gets, and it comes in. I'm sure it'd be much more efficient if I could target a certain frequency and maybe make a antenna oriented toward that frequency. But right now it's just a little out of my scope. But it's a really cool topic nevertheless. Great Scott and Electro Boom, those guys are awesome. Electro Boom, I watch videos of his every day. He's a really entertaining guy to watch. Yeah, it's funny because I know all the times that he electrocutes himself. I know it has to be on purpose and deliberate, but somehow he makes it into a way where you think it's legitimate every single time, and it doesn't get old. It's hilarious. It keeps me entertained. So I mean, it works. So my analog isn't super great, so you might end up being a better expert than me. Wait, what? Honestly, my focus is in digital electronics, so my analog isn't. Well, the course I'm taking, the first half of it is all analog, and I guess the teacher explains that the digital components are made out of analog components in the on the smallest level. So he wants us to understand the analog stuff before we switch to digital. But I think my focus in the end is going to be digital electronics because I'm really into the Raspberry Pi and Arduinos and stuff like that. But as of right now, I'm going to focus on what the course is going on when the analog electronics, and try to get as much of it as I can before we move on over to the digital stuff. The two radios I used are the ICOM, and you can get a. Oh, okay, so you're talking about the linear satellites. I'll have to do some more research on that later because that is a really interesting topic. Thanks for mentioning it. Digital analog ham, welcome to the stream. I think this might be the first time I've seen you chat in here. Cool. If it's not the first time you're here, sorry, but this is the first time I recognize the name. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here tonight. About an hour in. That's kind of what's been my goal, to try to make sure I have time for everything that I'm going to do here. But I want to thank everybody for watching. Saw a lot of cool people in here that have been hanging around that just now got tuned in. So glad to see you in the stream, Minecraft. And of course everybody else, it's glad to see you back here again. I saw some new faces here too. We only made a couple contacts, but it was a pretty good stream. Has a little bit of technical difficulty. Maybe you could use a resonance directional antenna pointing to a higher power 24/7 transmission station, maybe an HF time station. I've thought about that, of maybe pointing it toward a TV broadcast station where they're switching over to like HD antenna TV. I've thought about doing that too. I just got to figure out how to zero in on a specific frequency and do the filtering. But I'm sure as I go through this analog electronics course, I think we're getting ready to get into like capacitance filtering and stuff like that. So maybe that'll help me out some. Maybe an HF time station lightning mostly puts out LF and VLF, although some HF. Interesting. Yeah, capturing lightning, and that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for tuning back in this week. Pretty good stream tonight. I'm glad to see so many people back here. We're really excited about the video I have this coming week too. I did a pretty good video last week, the ISS. So I think tuning into one video and allowing me to focus a little bit more on that video is going to be good for everybody involved. It's going to be better quality for people, the end user, because they can tell that I'm not as stressed and my time isn't as constrained. So, and for me, it's going to be a lot better because I'm not as stressed about how I'm going to fit in everything that I need to do. But yeah, it's going to be a really cool video this week. I'm going to be harvesting stray RF. So look out for that. Probably Friday at 2 o'clock. Where I'm just doing one video a week. I don't know how I'm going to change the upload schedule, but as of right now, I still think I'm going to do Fridays at 2 o'clock. FT3DR is a good radio. It's a good first radio. There's a lot to it, a lot of functions. So I think another user was ModernHam on here that just started too. So and got the FT3D. So it's a great first radio. It's got all types of functions. It's a lot to it, and there's a lot to learn. But it'll give you a lot of room to play around with. But yeah, congratulations. Hopefully you get your ticket here soon, and maybe HF ticket won't be able to make contact over here. Yeah, Minecraft, we'll make a QSO sometime, especially if you're moving up to HF, we'll find a way. We've been talking about that for quite a while. But thanks everybody for watching. Probably going to be signing off here. I hope everybody's had a good Sunday. Thank everybody for joining the evening stream here. I hope everybody has a good week. And hopefully I'll see you all Friday at 2 o'clock.